Ty Butler and Anthony McCarron are here to talk some Mets now, guys. David Peterson has been a rock of stability in the Mets rotation, but there are some troubling signs. So, Anthony, how concerned are you with David Peterson at this point?
Well, you know, Chelsea, even in his bad stretch here, he's still been giving the Mets 6 innings a pop most of the time, and that's not something that they've had from the rest of the rotation. I'm not panicking over David Peterson. I feel like that ball that went off of his glove, I think, was a big deal, because if it goes into his glove, he turns a double play. If he misses it completely, then the Mets turn a double play. It hit off of it, and I know that things went from there, and Nimmo didn't take a great route on that fly ball. That cost him as well. So there were all these circumstances that hurt him. I mean, he's got to clean it up as well. He's got to sort of stop the bleeding when these things happen,
right,
and that's on him. The one thing I will say might be a lingering concern is that he's already well over his high in innings in the major leagues. I think he's 31 innings over what he did last year, something in that neighborhood. So is that coming back to haunt him here in the second half? And that's something that he has to fight through and prove that it isn't.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's the stretch run. You have to be concerned, because if it were the reverse and his splits were different, the last 13 games he were dominating, we'd say we'd be celebrating that. So because of the fact that everything is on the line for these Mets and they're now relying on these rookies, you have David Peterson go out there in Atlanta last night, wet the bed, or Atlanta a week ago, wet the bed, and then today do more of the same. You have to be concerned. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's been awful. So with that guy being your ace, not performing well, my concern level is really up to a 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you need more from your veterans. So the Mets, they sweep the Phillies. Everyone's feeling good. Momentum is riding high, right, Anthony? And then this Marlins series hits, and something just feels off. Lots of lackadaisical moments, sloppy play. Ty, how do you explain the difference between the two of those series?
Well, you nailed it. Defensively in this series, they've been a disaster. And I wonder if they got themselves up for that Philly series. It's a division leader, and they know that they have to play their best to beat Philadelphia. But then you can't, rest on your laurels. I know the Marlins are not a good team, but these are games that still have to be won. And I came into this series thinking you at the very least have to win 3 or 4. Now you're staring at losing 3 or 4, because Senga's not like he's been, a bastion of consistency. So a lot has to change. It starts defensively, but also that rotation. I mean, the best they've gotten so far has been from Tong, who just made his debut. That should not be the case.
I mean, look, if they came up flat for this series and they're playing like they did a little bit, there's no excuse for that. I mean, look, you had your party against the Phillies and you clobbered them, and Citi Field was going nuts. Everybody was having such a good time. But you have to bring it for the Marlins, too. I don't care what their record says. By the way, these aren't the old Marlins that used to lose 106 games every year. These guys are young and scrappy and hungry, and they want to stick it to the Mets. And by the way, there's plenty of history between these two teams where the Marlins stick it to the Mets' playoff hopes. I don't know, go back in the annals and check that out. It's not very comfortable reading. But if the Mets are coming up because, hey, it's the Marlins, like, that's bad. And they didn't pass the Phillies when they swept them. They got into the NL East race and got you a little excited about that. But there's a lot more work to do, and now they're not doing the work.
A game where you score 8 runs with your ace on the mound should not result in a loss. I'm sorry, that should be a lockdown win. That should be a lockdown win. They should be motivated to get it done. And I'm not saying there's a lack of motivation, but because of the losses they've had against the Braves and the Nationals, the Pirates, these inferior teams, the Mets have put themselves in a spot where every game feels like it's a must-win. And look, this is as close to a must-win tomorrow as you could possibly have for an August 31st game, because it's September. It's right around the corner, and you're not going to get too many opportunities to get back into this division race. So Mets got to go out there and start with Kodai Senga.
Yeah, I mean, everything is on the line at this point, and you saying that they played up to the Phillies. You can't play down to any opponent, no matter who they are.